Hey guys, this is Scott Christensen, and I'm with Kairos Church Planting. I'm actually the director of recruiting for Kairos. And I've been a part of the Kairos family since 2007. Holly, my wife, and I started and planted a church in Puyallup, Washington, Renovo Church. And we were so blessed over the years to get to work with this dynamic church planting organization. We're so excited about 2019. The spring surge is coming up, and collectively getting to work together across the country with one another to be able to have 10,000 souls in worship together in service to Jesus. One of the things that we did that was amazing was to go from maybe a living room of people to 200 people in a gymnasium over a very short period of time, using the different skills, the different talents, and the strategy that we are going to provide for you over the next few days, weeks, and months. Again, we're excited about this spring surge that's going to happen in 2019, working together with churches from Seattle to Tuscaloosa to Providence, Rhode Island to San Diego, California. And we want to see you be a part of this as well. It'd be such a blessing to have. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to introduce to you Josh Granberg. He's going to go through the Spring Surge calendar over the next few months and weeks and show you exactly how this whole thing breaks down so that you can join us during the Spring Surge 2019.
Thanks, Scott. Welcome to the Spring Surge 2019. So this is the second video in the course, and whether your church is thriving and growing with responsive leaders and engaged members, or your church is getting smaller with an eldership that's difficult to work with and members that just won't get involved no matter what you do, this is the place to be. No matter what kind of church you work with, whether it's large or small or young or old, no matter where you are on that spectrum, being part of this year's Spring Surge will help your church grow. Spring Surge will help your members get excited, get involved. You'll find new leaders and help other leaders grow, and you'll feel empowered and successful as a minister of the gospel. That's really exciting, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So my name is Joshua Granberg. I'm a design specialist here for Kairos and an artist as well. Specifically, I'm a portrait painter. I studied art and design for about 9 years, first at Harding University and then at the Florence Academy of Art in Italy. And now I'm super excited about being part of the Kairos community and using my skills and knowledge to help ministers just like you figure out more effective ways of communicating and organizing the message through effective design, because that's really important in today's world. So this Spring Surge calendar is one of the tools that we've come up with that we think will really help simplify your workload. So before we get started now, if you haven't seen the first video in the series, you should probably go check that out, because Stan walks through what a big day event is and also what you can expect from a big day event. He also walks through how to come up with your Spring Surge goal. It's that number that you can expect to see at your Easter gathering this year. So if you haven't already, go watch that video and then come back here and finish this one. And then in this video, what we're going to do is walk through the Spring Surge calendar. It's a simple one-page calendar that gives you the basic blueprint of what this course is and what to expect and see in a big day event and how all the pieces fit together. So we're going to be covering a lot of ground today, so be sure to download the PDF and print it. And so it's there in front of you so you can kind of take notes and follow along with us as we go. So let's dive right into this. So here's the calendar. First big section is right here in the middle, and that's basically the outline. It's all based on Easter celebration. That's week 0. So we're going to count backwards, week 1, week 2, all the way out to week 10, way out here. So we're going to start ramping up for Easter celebration 10 weeks in advance and then go out 2 weeks past Mother's Day as well. So that's how that's organized. We also see up here you have 2 sermon series. One of them will have 4 sermons and then Easter celebration sermon, and then 3 sermons after that leading up to Mother's Day. So that's that central part. A different way to view that same information is over here on this far side. We have the actual calendars. So you have February all the way through May, and then you have these numbers on the side correspond to the week over here in the central section. So we have April 21st is Easter, that's week 0, and then week 1 is right here, and week 2 going all the way back to week 10, which starts February 10th. It's also broken down into 4 different stages. This first stage starts in February 10th and goes through the second week of March, and that's the marketing stage. So that's where you do a lot of the behind the curtains work, so some of your design elements and some things like that. And then we have the cultivate phase, which starts here March 15th and goes up through Easter. And that's where you're cultivating your church members and helping create an atmosphere of welcome and invitation as well. And then we have the plant phase, which is from Easter to Mother's Day. And that's where you have all these new people who have come in, the new guests, and that's where you're going to be preaching and ministering specifically to them. And then from Mother's Day till 2 weeks after that is the reap phase. And that's where you're offering that invitation. You're asking them to come join on this walk of a Christian life. So that's that section of the calendar. And then kind of the meat of the whole thing is right here in the middle. So we'll just go over a couple of these so you have an idea of what it looks like. So like right here, we have from week 10 over to week 8. In this section, what you're going to be working on is right here, the storyboard. So you'll be putting together your storyboard, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit also. So then these 2 areas in quotations are the modules that will be released, and they will walk through how to do your action items for that block of time. So again, here you have 2 more modules coming out: leading your leaders, preaching to unbelief. And then from weeks 8 to 5, you'll be working on your design concepts, putting together a production deadline, so make sure that you can kind of keep up with everything, and updating your website. And then again, you have 2 modules, the design concepts and all about emails. And then here in week 7 is social media. So those 3 modules will help walk through how to do that. So it's the same all the way through. So here we have week 5, what you'll do, the modules, and like here from week 2 to Easter, what you'll be working on, prepping your building, your welcome team practice. And I'll let you kind of walk through the rest of that. But that's the kind of the meat of this calendar, is how this central section works, and you can walk through and see what that looks like. And then up here, we have your social media and your email sequences, and when those will be triggered and released. And as part of the modules, we'll walk through how to put those together, how to automate it so that you can just trigger it once, and then it just goes all automatically on its own. So you'll be sending out 1 email a week, probably on, let's say, Saturday afternoon is a great time to do that. And then 2 social media posts, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or some other different social media platforms that you might be using. You'll be posting twice a week throughout this Spring Surge calendar. So that shows how that will fit into the calendar. And then finally, we have down here at the bottom the storyboard. Now this is adapted from Donald Miller's concept and book called Building a Story Brand. It could be something that would be worthwhile for you to go check out and read as well on your own. We've kind of adapted it here because it fits well in organizing and building your sermon series. So throughout this Spring Surge course, we're going to have you build 2 storyboards, one for your first sermon series and another for your second sermon series. The first one for your members, the second one for your guests. So that is who the character is. Is it your members or is it your guests? So each one of these boxes will have a really brief, maybe 1 sentence kind of description of that box. So we have a character, they have a problem, they meet a guide, which is you as a church planter or a church minister, and even your church is that guide. So the character has a problem, who meets a guide, who has a plan that calls them to action, that produces an outcome and a transformation. So it moves that character from this place into a new creation and invites them to walk with us in that Christian walk. Okay, so that's the Spring Surge calendar. We've covered a lot of ground already. It's a short video, but there's a lot of information there. So pause, take a deep breath. You don't need to do all of this right now. You don't even need to know it all. So this video was really about giving you an overview of how a big day event works and what it looks like so that you can grow your church. And you can do it the best by joining us and a group of other ministers and walk through the Spring Surge calendar just 1 week at a time as we move through it. Now I know it looks like a lot of work, and I know it's not really, let's say, socially appropriate to say that doing church work takes a lot of work, but you're right, it does take a lot of work. But what we've really tried to do is make this as easy as possible. We're not even asking you to add this to your workload that you already have. It's not about doing more things, it's about doing the right things. And based on our 15 plus years of experience, the things that we're asking you to do in this Spring Surge will give you the greatest results and will help you communicate the gospel in the most effective way. So now I want to hear from you. What actions are you going to take right now to help you get started? That's really the hardest part of this, is getting started. Also, maybe tell us what you're excited about seeing in this course. So just go down to the bottom of the video and leave a comment. So what are you going to do to help you get started right now? And what are you most excited about seeing in this course? And also, if you found this video valuable and helpful, go share it with maybe 3 other people, especially if they're interested in growing their church as well. It's so much easier to get started on this kind of a journey when you have other people that you know going along it with you. And now, finally, I want to tell you about the next video that's coming up in the series. It's all about leading your leaders. I think you're going to really love it. In fact, it might be your favorite one in this series of 3 videos. Because what we're going to do is give you some tools to help you move your leadership, maybe your elders, along this journey of understanding and seeing the value of a big day event to grow your church. I think you're really going to love it. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.